This is a low fire clay glazing tutorial focusing on Amaco's Crystaltex Glazes, and the particular glaze is called Mardi Gras. If you love learning about art, hit that subscribe button and support this public school art teacher's side hustle. So I have my bisque fired mermaid. So this is fired at kiln 05, and this is my glaze that's a little bit chunky, so I added just a little bit of water and I'm stirring vigorously with the handle of a dead paintbrush. A dead paintbrush is just a paintbrush I don't care about anymore. And you do want to make sure that your glaze is not too thick and then it's kind of easy to spread. Now I'm using one of my favorite brushes from this glaze brush set, and I will put all of my materials in my description box. With glazing, you want a brush that can really load the glaze into the bristles, but will be soft enough to push it into all the cracks and crevices. This is the Amaco Crystaltex line. If you're a teacher, I hear they don't sell it at Blick Art Materials anymore, but I found it on Amazon. But this Amaco Jungle Gym glaze set is very comparable, very similar. So you can use this video for any how to glaze any crystal type glazes. So my first coat, I'm focusing on just covering the whole thing evenly. Just like nail polish, you don't want to glob it on in a thick layer. You want it to dry and you want it to be smooth. And then the key is to put even layers multiple times. So you're going to get a little bit messy. You want to cover your table. You don't want to waste glaze, but it will kind of get places because it's a 3D object and you have to move it, and it is sitting on a surface as well. And you want to be mindful about the crystals. So I'm taking a smaller paintbrush here, and I really love this one. And I'm spreading it into the textured areas. If you have any carved designs, it's important that you get glaze in all the cracks and crevices. And then these crystals is what makes this glaze so cool. The crystals with the heat is like small pieces of glass will bloom into these beautiful, vibrant, colorful pieces of glaze. And that's what makes this such a great technique to use in the classroom, because it really does turn out excellent. Now I'm going to let it dry completely, and that's the part you can't skip. So be patient, put it in front of a fan, and then you're going to do a second coat once the first coat is completely dry. If you're not patient, all you're doing is pushing around the first coat, and you're not going to get the 3 coats necessary to have a really nice opaque look. Crystaltex glazes are not dinnerware safe. So don't use it on like a cup, because the crystals are going to be a little bit 3D and they're not great for food because, it can capture germs and bacteria. But for this, it's great. And I love the simplicity of the white and the blue. Each one's a little bit different. You can see I'm going pretty fast here, and I'm actually putting it on the bottom. We'll talk about that. I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to repeat for my third and final coat. Let's do a time lapse since you've seen me do 2 coats before. And on the third coat, pay very close attention to your crystals and where they're settling, and make sure you're happy with the placement. Once you've done your third coat, let it dry completely, and then it's time for the kiln. I glazed the bottom, so I'm using a stilt so it does not stick to my kiln, but you can also just not glaze the bottom. And you're going to fire this at kiln 05. That's a low fire temperature, and that'll help the glazes really come to life. Voila, here she is after a night in the kiln. And you can see she's beautiful, vibrant, and just really interesting to look at. So here's the finished result, mostly a white glaze, and then the crystals are these beautiful bursts of blue and kind of like a turquoise lighter blue. You can see the bottom I only glazed once or twice so it wouldn't stick in the kiln. And let's give her a proper 360 view. Thank you so much for sticking around and making art with me, and if you're interested in more glazing tutorials, check these out. Find me on Instagram at thatartteacher_Machado to see what my students are up to in my classroom, and my website, thatartteacher.com, has free resources for teachers and anyone who wants to make art at home.